on.
I've only had about 1 minute worth of talking. It would be 2 minutes. Yep, that's it.
A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH286, Patricia and David, on the 29th of July, Thursday here on the side of the dateline. And it's been not too bad a day. The odd sprinkle, but otherwise some sunshine and lots of activity at the house here. 16 degrees at the moment, 1018.3 and steady. And a very light, maybe 5 at the most, east-northeast with 90% cloud cover. So it's a very pleasant evening. And nights like this, we sort of feel that maybe we are at the turn of coming towards summer. I know there's a long way to go. It's very difficult here in New Zealand, and I guess you folk out in the islands just don't really get the full feel of the COVID situation around the world. It is pretty grim. In Iran, for example, they are dealing with 34,900 COVIDs the last 24 hours. That's a record for them. The previous one was just under 32,000. I mean, that is a lot of people. It's quite confusing information from the CDC in the USA. They are now wanting and recommending mask wearing inside, even if you are fully vaccinated. There has been quite a surge in cases throughout the country, particularly in the states that are not well vaccinated. So that's what they are suggesting. Here in New Zealand, we have 5 new MIQ cases, nothing out in the community, people coming into the country. 2, in fact, tested positive on day 13. Well, they were only in MIQ for 14 days, so that was kind of lucky. There were 2 people from the UAE. In fact, there are 43 people in MIQ, none in hospital, but they're certainly bringing them the COVID, mostly Delta, into the country. And a person has been medevaced today from Fiji, seriously ill. They were initially rejected, but it's a high-profile staff member of the WHO, and the UN intervened, and the patient is being on her way now, I think to her, in a private jet, in a sort of a capsule thing under negative pressure. So that will have to be dealt with. They haven't actually announced the hospital that she's going to, but it does look like Middlemore Hospital, which is the closest one to the airport. New South Wales, they're dealing with 2,512 active cases. It's kind of a bit difficult to know how many in the last 24 hours because it depends on the news source you go to, but it looks like 239 in the last 24 hours. They've now got 65 deaths. And Fiji are looking at 715 new cases in the last 24 hours. But they will be excited, Fiji, because they had a great win in the Olympics, the rugby sevens, 27-12. They beat New Zealand, so I think they'll all be very happy. And it just goes to show that even though there's been a lot of controversy with the Olympics being run, it is taking people's mind off the COVID situation throughout the world. Well, nothing much more really, news-wise. We've been watching some strange sports on the television from the Olympics, but I guess we're showing our age when we sort of look at some of these things. There's a game that David said, where's the rest of the court? It looks like a basketball game, but there's only half a court, and both teams are firing at the one hoop. And then, of course, there's the BMX bicycle people are on at the moment, and yeah, there's some real strange stuff. But anyway, it's all good fun. Just wondering if you have put your cars away, or all of you who have left New Zealand. Hopefully they are safely garaged. Theft in the Auckland area is absolutely rampant, car theft. In the last year, just in Auckland, 9,500 vehicles were stolen. We actually experienced this ourselves early Saturday morning, and on our security camera, my car is parked right outside, easy to get into, take away, and a young fella very nonchalantly, not showing his face unfortunately under the hoodie, attempted to take my car, remove the cover, and then very fortuitously the paper man with his flashing lights came up the street and scared him away. But if you have a Mazda Demio, whatever that is, 825 of them were stolen, and then second on the wanted list is a Nissan Tinder, whatever that is, 777 of them, and a long way third was a Mazda Artenza. There's a lot of Mazdas. People want Mazdas. I bet they're not stealing electric cars. That would be a bit of a challenge to keep them powered up. But yes, if you've got a good old-fashioned fuel-using car, boy, you better hang on to it very securely here in the Auckland area at the moment. All right, that's about it from me. Nothing much of startling news from New Zealand. Here's David.
Yeah, good afternoon from the Gulf Harbour Radio weather desk, and nothing startling here either. In fact, this is going to be very short. Looking at tomorrow, synoptic picture for tomorrow, everything's as much as yesterday, really. A series of fronts, troughs, are going to reside in the Tasman as they're doing now, while off to the east we'll have a high. It'll be centered near 30 and 175 west. And then over to the west of all of this is another high, and that at the moment is centered, or will be centered over Sydney. By Saturday, the trough system lies nearly over New Zealand with a developing low that'll be just to the northwest of Cape Reinga. So it kind of looks like it will move in on Saturday. Hopefully Sunday will be a little bit better, or at least we're hoping for that to be the case. Up in the tropics today, the active trough that we've been talking about for a week now is still there. It's over the Solomons. It remains there. Only now it's heading to just north of Vanuatu. It's lifted. It's gone north just a wee bit. And it goes on from there to Rotuma, then Wallis and Futuna. Then it runs just north of Tonga and Niue, and finally on to the southern Cooks. So we'll just very briefly look at Fiji. The trough that you're experiencing has moved off to the north, but Fiji Met still continues with its strong wind warning for all Fiji waters. They're talking about easterly winds 20 to 25 knots and easing to 15 to 20 by tomorrow. And that's really about all I've got to say. Tomorrow I'll do a bit of a roundup, being Friday. I'll do a roundup for the weekend. The wind, to give you an idea, the weekend does not look very hot for Fiji. I don't mean temperature. So anyway, with that, I'll give this to the chief.
All right, so yeah, there doesn't seem to be an awful lot of movement of boats at the moment, so we will throw it open to you. If anyone wants us to cover anything in particular tomorrow, let us know if you want to move somewhat bigger than around the corner. Otherwise, if you've got anything that you want to pipe up with, now's the chance. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, standing by. Hello, Charles. Yes, I just seen that you're still in splendid isolation in that lovely little nook there. How's everything going, over?
Fantastic. We've gone to any other boats and we have a private little anchorage all to ourselves, which we thoroughly enjoy. And just giving you a heads up, we're thinking of leaving tomorrow to go and take the change in wind direction for a sail down to Fulanga. It's a very short weather break, but it looks favourable. But of course there'll be no cell phone access or anything else. So grateful for the weather update. So looking forward to that. And also there's no real internet access from the stage. So we've got little updates and reviews. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. Otherwise, nothing else to add.
All right, yeah, no problem at all. So off to Falanga tomorrow, and we're just looking to see how many boats are down there at the moment. This is multitasking here, and the computer doesn't really like it when I'm talking at the same time. So, yep, David will give a good update tomorrow. He did comment on the fact that there was some quite strong winds. It's actually a bit lighter down there, Port, if you believe this at the moment. Did you want to add anything?
Nope.
No, he doesn't. He'll cover that tomorrow. I'm just trying to move the screen so that I can see how many boats are down there. But, alright, well, actually, there doesn't seem to be imagination from the USA. Hello, you guys. Nice to hear you. We will certainly be talking tomorrow, but that's all I've got showing on my screen is imagination down at Falanga at the moment. So, yes, it sounds like you're in a really lovely little spot there, and we will talk tomorrow. Back to you, Charles, if there is anything more. Otherwise, we will talk again tomorrow. Over.
Thank you, Professor David. Nothing else to do. We look forward to doing some more exploring and catching up tomorrow.
All right, cheers to you. And even though I'm only showing one boat at Falanga, others might not have their AIS on all the time. So anyway, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Cheers, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, and we're clear.